ever. You know, like, when you make your point, don't beat a dead horse, bro. Show some empathy, show some sympathy. We've all been in that situation where we've been totally demeaned, you know, as a person. Come on, bro. We're past that. You know, we can handle stuff like humane people. You know, and I think that's where people have to understand and build those lines. One, you gotta spend a lot of time with yourself. Keyword, like I said earlier, is understanding.
What's up, family? This is the Get Your Time Back series with Gerrion Grim. So turn your headphones up and let's get this studio some loving.
Empathize and sympathize and mindfulness. All in the same 10 words.
Oof. Bars. Those are word bars.
Wow. We got everything out that we need to talk about today, so I guess we're in the episode of that.
Ugh. Wow. I don't know if people are ready for this one.
Okay.
Because it's going to get a little confusing. We're going to have to talk in circles a little bit. But we're going to have to catch them.
I don't know if you're in your car. I don't know if you're at your house. I don't know if you're at the gym. Hold on tight for this one.
Because it's time to get your time back.
Time to get your time back.
Oof. Ready to go?
Ready to go.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead. All right. There's there's empathy and there's sympathy.
Uh-huh.
My research, empathy is putting yourself in other shoes, and sympathy is feeling emotion for something.
Yep.
Okay. So
Can I go back to the definitions that I looked at?
yes.
They're both deal with understanding. So when you sympathize, you feel pity for someone's situation, so you understand their situation, right? Whereas empathy is you understand the situation and you're able to share about the situation.
Yeah.
So empathy comes with experience. Sympathy comes with just being humane. Right? Same definition that you said, but that's my take on it. You know, we talk about perspective on the show a lot. Everything's a perspective, everything's a bias on how we feel. It's factually based. You just gotta look it up, get your time back, and do your research.
Research, and your time will come back.
Yep.
After the research, after you educate yourself.
Yes. My source was Webster. My teachers always told me to use citations. I'm gonna use cite Webster, but I'm gonna cite my brain for the actual definition that I gave. That was how I thought of it.
I like it.
Empathy. I use it every day. Cause when I have to coach these kids, I understand where they're coming from, and I can share where they're coming from because I remember my exact thoughts. You know, a lot of people ask me, when did you realize you're going to be a professional athlete? I said, like, when I was, 8 or 9, you know, and I was young, and people want to tell me, well, you got to have a backup plan, you know, and it's like, no, I'm going to do baseball forever. You know, that's exactly what I'm working for. Like, I don't have to have a backup plan if that's what I want to do. You just got to make it happen. You got to be be stubborn in your ways. And that's why I tell these kids, you know, they want to dream big. I have kids that come in and say, I want to go to a Power 5 school. Well, this is how you do it. This is what your skill set is. And I have to use empathy to teach them a lot. You know, also at times, bro, they'll come in and I have to use sympathy. I have to use both all the time. I would say even both of my brains are both built off empathy and sympathy. With Energy Enterprise, that's literally having sympathy towards others that walk around feeling like they're not involved in anything. It's about creating your own environment. If you want something for yourself, step back, get your time back, learn how to create it, you know, and do it. You know, and that's the whole part of the brand is to inspire, right? That's why it's a wolf. Every wolf has a pack. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just gotta find yours. I happen to have a lone wolf. You know what I'm saying? I'm still looking and building my pack right now. You might see something evolve where we have multiple packs on a wolf. You know, a logo's a logo, bro. It's about the name and what it represents. You know, that's the biggest thing with the Mariners. You know, it was something where we really felt like we wanted to grab a culture or something. So we thought about the boy Ken Griffey, how much swag he played with. You know, and we know the kids feel empathy towards that. They want to share that relationship with that. You know, like, oh, I want that swagger. I want to walk around with a smile on my face. That's why I like wearing my hat backwards. It's against the status quo. And that guy did it with swag, and he was one of the best to ever do it. You know, and that's where, for me, you know, I try to put myself in the kids' shoes and say, look, what's something that I can gravitate to? And that's that happy-go-lucky feeling, you know. So I think if you walk around a lot with a little bit of empathy and sympathy, you're able to go and break down. You'll always stay mindful of people. You used that word earlier.
Yeah.
Right?
Like that brings it together. Other than compassion, I think mindfulness.
Yes. Mindfulness keeps you alive. Spiritually, soulfully, that's a word. Physically, because when you're mindful of the people around you, right? I said earlier, you don't violate. I said earlier in the season. You don't violate, right? That's when you start running into problems, is when you lose your mindfulness and you just talk to people in any type of way. People are people, bro. You don't. There's no reason to humiliate. I can't even talk. Humiliate. Yes. Sorry, got tongue tied. Humiliate, right? Other people.
Yeah.
Ever. You know, like, when you make your point, don't beat a dead horse, bro. Show some empathy, show some sympathy. We've all been in that situation where we've been totally demeaned, you know, as a person. Come on, bro. We're past that. You know, we can handle stuff like humane people. You know, and I think that's where people have to understand and build those lines. One, you guys spend a lot of time with yourself. Key word, like I said earlier, is understanding. The only way you understand is you have to go through it yourself. You went through something yourself, listen to what people are telling you. Be mindful.
There's a time. So sympathy. When people have sympathy, they usually start with the word "at least." They'll feel your pain. They see the feeling of your emotions, but they start with "at least."
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that? What was there a time in your life where you had sympathy with someone and you were like, well, at least, you know, at least I didn't this, at least I didn't that, well, at least this didn't happen.
No, I think I just let people tell their story. You know, when I get, like, if I can't relate, I just try to be there. If I can't empathize, I just try to be there. I try to sympathize when I can't empathize. Like, majority of the times, I'm gonna empathize. I think that's relative to whoever. You know, so I really don't have at least anything, because it is what it is. If I went through a situation, I'm gonna tell you, hey, bro, I get this. I understand this. This is how we get through it. There's that empathy, right? When I sympathize, I'm gonna say, I understand your situation, or I feel your pain. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm here for you, and if you need me. You know, whether it be a friend, sometimes, bro, people go through things and they just need to vent to you. Sometimes you just gotta sit there and worry and don't say anything. And just say, you know what, I agree. You know, I get that a lot, especially with the athletes. Sometimes I just gotta let them speak. Especially these young kids. These young kids are geniuses coming up. I talk to them every day in the batting cage. They are geniuses. You got some world leaders in St. Peter's and O'Fallon, Missouri, and St. Charles. I'm telling you, they have plans. They're smart. You know, it's just getting them some exposure to it and talking about it with them. Let them filter through it. I think that's one thing that I've noticed with my niece. My niece operates mentally like a 17 or 18-year-old already. You know, and so sometimes I have to get past her being a 14-year-old, you know, and really, really talk about, or really listen to her, and she's super mature. You know, but life experiences grow you up. You know, she's had her own life experiences that have made her mature. You know, that's not my business to tell. I'm just talking from the uncle side of it. You know, at some point she gets to tell her own story. You know, and that's the biggest thing is when you go down through that, there's things even with her I can't empathize with, so I have to just feel sympathy. You know, and I think that's and I with the at least part. To me, the at least part is like you creating an excuse for yourself. Either for me. Now for you, it could be a different thing. What is the at least part for you?
I feel like it's selfish,
Yeah.
not thought out. When you have that, when that comes out, I feel like it's selfish, not thought out, and you really did not understand the situation. If it was vented to you, if it's at your most vulnerable point where someone is coming to you at their most vulnerable point, and you start with at least, you're probably in that situation where you want to hurry up and get out of it and don't want to have to, be there to have empathy for that person, or you just weren't mindfulness and you didn't educate yourself on what was said during that vulnerable moment. So,
Right. And what people gotta understand too is there's a right time and a wrong time to apologize. Like if you're speaking your mind and you say it respectfully, I don't ever expect you to apologize. Well, really, I don't ever expect anyone to apologize. But I know that if I'm wrong and I feel like I come off too harshly in my own head, I'm apologizing because I understand that there's no time ever for me to feel like I disrespected you.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's a lot of times where I apologize and people don't take it that way. But I can go to bed every single night knowing that I work not to offend people. I stay mindful of people. That doesn't make me anything. At the end of the day, I don't wake up looking over my shoulder. I don't wake up worrying about who's coming to get me next. Because I work hard on having character where I know what I'm getting myself into. Like I've always said this. If I run into a situation and it's a heat of the moment and something was to pop off, it was my time to go. But what I work really, really hard on is making sure those situations don't pop up. I stop getting mad when people bumped into me at the bar. Sometimes, dude, you know what I stopped doing? I stopped going to bars.
Yeah.
If that bothers you, stop going to the bars. Don't keep going to the bars and put yourself in a situation to get in a fight.
Right. Think about the situation and the environment of what you're getting into. If you become mindful of that choice is definitely serious. And choice has to do with empathy. It's a vulnerable choice of how you want to handle feeling the emotions for that particular someone. That's what comes to life is full of choices.
Oh, full of choices. You have to make choices every day. Even when you're younger. Do I do my homework? Do I not? Do I go to work today? Do I not? Do I want to be a good person? Do I not?
So how do you put someone? How does someone who is in that situation where they are being vented to, how do they make the choice? What are you putting? What can you give someone to make not the right choice? Yeah, the right choice, basically, the right choice.
To be pretty frank, you just gotta listen, and you gotta just use your know-how. Sometimes people just need to be talked off the ledge, bro. Yes, you gotta grab somebody. Don't jump. You're good. You're right here. You're good. You're good. But they gotta get it out. You gotta let them do that. So sometimes, a lot of the time, you just gotta use your ears and close this thing. All adults say it. When this is running, these aren't working. Right? But at the same time too, sometimes even adults need to close this and trying to instruct all the time and listen to the kids. And vice versa. Sometimes kids have to realize that adults are talking from the future. Right? I mess with people every day. I time travel every day. I look at the now, I look at the past, which was my parents, and I look at the future, which is the athletes that I work with every day. I time travel every single day. Time is relative to where you are. Kids, they feel like they're gonna be young forever. Let them feel that way, because they're gonna dream big and come up with these huge ideas and make the world go around. Adults keep molding right? Keep teaching off your past experiences. That's your history. Everybody has their own individual history. You're making history for somebody. You know, that's why I say that when you start realizing that, that's what you use to talk people off the ledge. You know, hey, you're doing good stuff. You're going to be able to relate. You're going to create your own environment. Go. You need to go mold these type of people. You know, it's a little bit of coaching. You know, and that's what I say. Is you just gotta find your niche in life, bro. It's like marketing. You know, you gotta market yourself. You know, and guess what? You're gonna get told no a lot, but we don't care, baby. We don't care about those no's. We care about the 1% that care about us. Grab your 1%. I do not care. Sometimes people's 1% are bigger, right? Celebrities 1% are bigger than my 1%. I don't care to be a celebrity. That's not my choice. That's the people's choice.
So speaking to, so let's say you are time traveling, and you're time traveling to back when you time traveling forward to practice, okay? And one of your kids get an offer. Say one of your players get an offer, and at that point they got to make a choice, okay, based off of empathy, putting themselves in the shoes of themselves, basically, or just of someone that they that has been in that same path through that offer process, through that same school. How does one go about that? How do you put empathy into your recruiting process?
I just told him about what I had to do and what I wish I would have done different. You know, when I was in this situation, this is what I thought about. You know, when I did this is what I thought about. You know, I think that's the biggest thing is players just are looking for direction in any sport. My recruiting methods go and they're transcendent across all sports. You know, like it's super easy. You know, and like the process that I use is it's easy, it's fast. It takes me maybe 30 seconds to explain, but it gets its hits. And then guess what I tell the athletes? We are going to be told no way more than we're told yes, and we only care about the one yes. Because when people walk around in a psychosis about recruiting, they think that it's this big thing. No, man. Every athlete, to some degree, once you get in high school ball and you start really caring and you start working on your craft every day, you'll turn into being some type of level of college player. Then it's about making those choices about what you want to do. Do I want to go academics? Do I want to mix the academics and sports, or do I want to be highly athletic? But I will say this: at no time are you less academic than athletic. At any level that you go to in sports. NJCAA, NAIA, NCAA, it does not matter. You are highly academic at all times because that keeps you on the field. And that's why I try to empathize with, right? You know, it's hard for me to sympathize with people that get bad grades when you say that you want to do a sport, because that your sport should be the driver of you getting good grades. By all means necessary, you know, you should find a way to stay on the field. Now, I understand people having learning disabilities, right? I understand people's living situations at home are different. It's all perspective. I'm just saying, when someone tells you something and they've been to the point that you've been, and they say, hey, I struggled with school, but this is what I did. If you choose to listen, you're going to find a gem in there that helps you. Right? That's why I say I find it hard to say that. Now, like I said, there's always an outlier, right? If that comment that I made is offensive, you're probably an outlier because your situation is totally outside the norm. Right? So then I'm going to empathize with it and say, militarize your brain and figure out how to get out of your situation if you don't like it. Find a book. You know, that's I feel like my situations that I came across were outside the norm, right? in terms of what I went through, because I feel like my story is my story, right? But my story is relatable too. You know, and that's what people really, really have to. You have to work on it, man. It's a craft to be able to empathize and sympathize, to relate to others.
I definitely think so myself. Because even just what I'm learning right now in financial services, to be able to help people, help these families, you have to have empathy. Like, you have to put yourself in the shoes of the family, of the one who policy owner, because you have to think about their future, their generation is coming up. So once you put in those shoes, you'll be able to get them a good policy that'll protect that family and help build wealth for eternity. So that I can definitely see why empathy is something that really needs to be studied more, because it's broad. Empathy is very broad, and it's broad enough that if you use it every day in most situations, you can see yourself in a better situation than what you would have done before without that choice.
Oh yeah. But no, man, there's a fine line, you know, between the two. A lot of the stuff we talk about is a fine line, you know, and we just try to define those lines so you know what field you're playing sometimes. You know, that way you're always staying in line. You got to be aligned with the lines.
Aligned with the lines.
Right? And guess what? I wrote a blog when I started my first website called Third Generation. You know, I just disbanded it, but I wrote a blurb or a little excerpt about crossing lines and switching lanes. And the concept of it was, are you willing to cross the line into a new lane and then just to keep traveling? Or do you get stuck behind the truck in front of you and the truck behind you? You know, and I try to speak on that a lot. Like, I will tell you right now, when it comes to a career, I will switch lanes all day, right? Because at some point in time, I just want anybody that I come in contact with know that anything that they want to do is possible. So you're gonna see me have 5 different careers. It's not about, if you don't agree with it, it's not about you. What I'm doing is not about you. It's probably someone coming up behind you that's hungrier, right? In that aspect, if you don't like music that I put out that I'm working on, it's not for you. Hit next. You know what I'm saying? But someone's gonna catch it. You know, if you don't like the sneaker that I put out, it's not for you. You know, and that's not like, it's not trying to make yourself a celebrity. I like being creative. I hope I inspire another creative mind that creates something that helps the world. What I do is just me being me, but I hope someone can empathize with that and say,
that's what I'm saying. Think that you're gonna start that light, spark that light, like Tupac said. I may not change the world, but I'm gonna help spark the light of someone who is going to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Being a creative and an entrepreneur, that shows, I mean, that builds in people's mind, builds that confidence in people's mind that they can do it too, whatever they want.
Yep. I had to look at influences, and when it came who I try to empathize with. Walt Disney. I thought Michael Jordan was tough for starting the Jordan brand, which was himself. Right? Did not care. Went out there with the most swag on his feet. You know, was competitive on the court and competitive in the business world at the same time. That's what people forget. At the same time. You know, and those are two moguls I look at. You know, Walt Disney was crazy. If you watch Walt before Mickey and it tells the story, that dude struggled, went out of business, had to go live with his brother.
Bankrupt. I think it was like bankrupt at what? Almost 30 or what? What was he at that age?
Close.
Well, no, 3 he went bankrupt.
You know what I dislike about movies? movies make it seem like they did this thing in 2 hours. And it just makes me mad. I get to the end of the movie, I said, man, how they do all that in 2 hours? I'm kidding. But yeah, but it's like, because like I said, time is relative to where you're at. You can watch someone's life story that took them 60 years to live in 2 hours. So at the end of the day, what you do is summed up in 2 to 3 hours. A whole 60 years. Just keep working. Wake up every day working.
So at that point, you have to make the most of that dash.
Yeah.
That dash is long, but it's really short.
Yeah. Hey, anytime you have to go on the ground, it was too early. Because I don't think you're ever to your full potential. As long as you're living, you're not to your full potential. You shouldn't be. And guess what? It gets tiring. It gets tiring being yourself sometimes, but that doesn't mean you ever leave yourself.
I think it could get tired being yourself sometimes, but it's fun.
Hey, I'm okay with being tired being myself.
It's way more fun.
Yeah, I'd rather try to be myself than somebody else. Because there's only one of me. There's only one Gerrion Grim III.
It was one thing my grandpa always said. I love me some me. My dad used to say that all the time, and that stuck with me. So
you have to. You gotta love yourself. You know what? Speaking of like love, bro. This is what my mom taught me this. She said, why would you ever listen to people that don't love you? People are always going to tell you what you do is bad, it's horrible. She goes, and then people are always going to tell you that you're ugly. People are always going to tell you that your nose is big. People are always going to tell you that your lips is big. People are always going to, and she's not, like, when she saying that, she just means people in general, bro. It wasn't like a race-specific thing. She's just talking in general. People are always going to hate on you. Always. She goes, but when your mom says, I love you, or your dad says, I love you, or your friends tell you that, and they support you, only focus on them. That did not make sense to me until I was like 26 or 27. Because I was always worried about making sure that I was running a good enough business, right, to make sure that people were taken care of. And I wasn't taking care of myself. So a lot of growing up, what'd you say?
That does become a problem in a lot of people's situations.
Bro, I tell people all the time. I'm a walking Jekyll and Hyde. I got two different monsters, but I'm the same beast. You know what I'm saying? And then when I say that, it's like when I have to get into the Jackal, that's work mode for me. You know what I'm saying? You gotta hide, you gotta become a monster. Vice versa. Either way. Just in case I switched up the story and the names, I'm going off the top of the head. But that is something. That dude was a doctor by day, a complete animal by night. People have their struggles, right? And guess what? When I was growing up, I thought he literally turned into some type of hairy beast. No, that book is about someone struggling with their mental subconsciousness, about walking the line without snapping every day. Everybody walks that line. Everybody walks the line of sanity every single day. Empathy and sympathy is what keeps you sane. And that's what I learned. It's easy to be a hateful and bad person, but it also make your life really short. My dad always told me that. He goes, bro, it takes more energy to wake up and hate than it does just to wake up and not care and love. He goes, every day, naturally, if you put yourself in a good light, or you work to put yourself in a better situation every single day, he goes, things are going to fall in line. He goes, but when you wake up to hate, he goes, it takes all your life energy
to get back to where you were. That's like
you'll never get to where you want to go.
That's as simple as smiling and frowning. It takes more energy to frown than it does to smile.
100%.
That's awesome.
You know what? I take a lot of pictures when I'm not smiling, because I'm not happy yet on where I'm at.
Okay.
There's more. But when you see me, I smile all the time.
You gotta see me in person.
Yeah, come see me in person to know what it is. You know, and that's just how I've always been. It originally started probably because I was subconscious. Probably.
Yeah.
You know, but then it turned into something where I was like, no, it's me, bro. People are like, why don't you smile? I do smile. Do you see me? When do you not see me smiling? I don't. Well, only in pictures. Okay, so what's a picture? When I'm in my hat, it's game face. You know, there's pictures of me out there smiling, but for right now, I'm in work mode. I'll smile when I get to retire. So never. You know, but joking. Dude, I don't believe I'm always going to be a worker, and it's okay. It's just the capacity to work or what I do. You know, I think that's everybody. Lil Wayne said this in a skit one time. He goes, you don't retire out, you die out. I was like, oh. I heard that when I was like 12. And that, like, because I used to listen to On Me, all those records, bro. Wayne used to have, like, the best pump-up songs for me, personally. He always talked to where I was at in life.
Wayne?
Yeah, you know I was. I'm a big Wayne fan.
Wayne was my football highlight tape. I had Wayne.
You know, but that was like, when I go back and listen to those songs, when I need to get into like a mental mode, I'm listening to Bill Gates. I'm listening to Right Above It. You know, and notice I'm not sponsored by Lil Wayne, but and I don't own the rights to those songs. But I don't want you two to take down this good video, bro.
Tag him in this video.
But no, man, you gotta use your influences. And here's a joke we used to always say at the end of the baseball season. We're like, because we would go and we'd be around each other for 8 months, 10 months out of the year, you know, and we would sit there and we'd say, yeah, 5 more days and I get to go pick my friends again. Because we were around each other so much, you know, we were like, oh man, we just go get to pick our friends now. Like, you know, we get to go back home and hang out with the homies and tell them about you guys. And it was always a joke, and it was, you know, lighthearted, you know, heartfelt. But that speaks to so much value, you know.
Yeah.
If you get to try your hardest to pick good influences, but it's our job as people to put good influences out there.
Exactly.
You know, that's why I'm very particular on things that I do. You have to be. Guess what? I'm human. I'm gonna screw up, just like the next person. You know, it doesn't have to be bash. That's why I don't care about scandals that might happen with athletes. They're human. You know what I'm saying? Like, it happens. Celebrities, they're human. They're going to screw up. They don't owe me anything. And that's another thing. If you really want to learn the key to empathy and sympathy, stop thinking that people owe you something. If you're investing into people, whether it be time or money, do it because you want to. Stop thinking it's going to come back. Because like 90% of the time, it's not going to come back the way that you think it's going to come back. Let it come back in a different type of blessing. It could come back as someone just saying your name to somebody in a good light, and that sparks a new client for you. It doesn't have to be that person goes and makes it big and comes back and pays you a lot. It's not about that. You know, you try to keep things circulating in good ways around people's names. That's what you should always do.
Always.
There's not a lot of people that I would speak badly on, right? I'd rather not speak on it than to sit there and tear that person down. Or I'm going to say something positive. I can find something positive to say about anybody, but it's going to be short. Because it doesn't have to go to that.
Oh, yeah.
They have families that are trying to put food on their tables. right? I have the same. I can empathize with that. So at the end of the day, I'm just gonna keep moving. I'm gonna keep my good energy up. Because the time that I divert and give you this bad energy, I lost steps with the good. Now I'm backtracking.
I think once you it's something I read into. Once you exchange expectation for appreciation, that's when you find your peace, and that's in people too. Like you say, even if you keep it short, but it's something positive. If you show that if you appreciate them in some way, shape, or form, you will sleep better at night.
Oh yeah.
Rather than trying to expect something. So that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. You have to. You have to realize everybody's out here struggling, right? Forget about beef. Get with somebody that, if you guys are beefing about something, there's a common ground. Talk about it.
Yeah.
If we're both putting our energy towards something, and we're both butting heads on something, there's a common ground there. So focus more on the common ground than making it a problem. But you gotta, like on me, if I understand something's a problem, I'll just walk away from it. We can revisit it 5 years from now, 10 years from now, because I'm not gonna hate you. I don't hate anybody, But personal lines, if you call some personal lines, man, I'm gonna get over it. Just give me some time. It might not be at your pace. It might be at G pace. You might get over it in 5 days. I might get over it in 5 years. That's not me holding a grudge. That's just when I decide to put time towards it. There's some stuff that I just might not want to put time towards because you crossed it that bad. But that doesn't mean that I have to cause you any harm or try to take food off your plate. You're going to do that for yourself. The way that you operate yourself. If you cross the line with me, you're going to cross it one too many times with another person. You get what I'm saying? And that's what's going to bring you. It doesn't have to be me. I don't need revenge.
Exactly.
Christianity taught me that. God said revenge is mine. And I live by that. I don't go out seeking revenge. Because if I go out seeking revenge, it's going to be sweet. Because I'm going to get it in some type of competitive way. And it's not going to be mean or anything. If I have to go out and seek revenge, I'm coming with it. Because I'm stepping outside of my mode. And that's not me. That's just me, the competitor in me. If someone got me on a basketball court, they're getting got.
I'll be right back.
Yes. You got me. Good job. Second half is mine. Football. Oh, you jammed me up off the line? I got you. Right? Baseball. Oh, you hit me, you're striking out the next 10 at-bats. I got a sequence for you. Now I'm going to get in your head. And that's for me, where my mindset started with sports. Because it was always about play the game. I liked when people trash talked me. It took me to another level. Because
every time, those are the best games when I got trash talk. Those are the best games. That you unlocked another level.
Yeah.
I had to bring it out, unfortunately.
Yes. And guess what? I try not to walk around like that anymore. I used to naturally walk around like that in high school. Right? I would walk around ready for that that flip of the switch. I'm talking about something where as simple as I was on the mound and a guy I didn't think should hit off me would foul a ball off and I get pissed. Bro, it's a part of the game. People are going to foul pitches off. I'd be like, bro, you shouldn't hit me. And I get mad and I went to another mode and then I dominated the rest of the game. That was just how I operated, man. Is it right or wrong? That's not for you to say. That's for me to say. And guess what? It worked for me. So if you can relate to what I just said, you're part of my 1%. You're a 1% nation. You know what I'm saying? It might not work for you. You might have had to think something different. I'm going to tell you right now, if I see you on the basketball court and you do something I don't like, I'm coming at you the rest of the game. It doesn't matter if I do it now at 27 or if I catch you when I'm 45. You're getting the same energy no matter what. If I'm willing to step on the basketball court and you start drawing, I might go for 30 on you, just cause. You know, and that's why I walk around. You don't poke the bear, bro. Sometimes, you know, and I encourage everyone to know what they have in their bag, bro. If you're listening to this, you're a dope person.
What is a bag?
A bag is multiple things. There's multiple things about a bag, bro. You got your money bag, and you got your talent bag. You got your business bag, right? I got a bag, and sometimes I walk around with a satchel, which is a little bit.
Feel free to check us out.
I got different bags, bro.
www.investments.com. We are also on every social media site at Investments. Thank you for taking the time to invest in yourself, and we'll see you next time.